So if you grew up with SpongeBob SquarePants, you might remember there were some episodes that were specials. These would be double-length episodes that explain the episode to give more story. Episode specials that I remembered was Christmas Who, which was a Christmas special, and Dungeons and Dragons, which was about SpongeBob and Patrick traveling back into medieval times. Even though this wasn't the only time we say Bikini Bottom in a past time, there was an episode that took place in prehistoric times, titled SpongeBob BC, Before a Colony, also known as UGG.
This is a double-length episode I remember watching, I still remember it to this day. It basically takes Bikini Bottom and turns into the setting of 1 million years ago. It definitely gives me some laughs out of it. I kind of wonder why they didn't do some sequel episodes to these kind of specials. Like, sure, it would be fun to see more of these besides holiday specials, but I would love to see some of these plots come back in some modern episodes. I would soon find out why this is for this episode in particular. I figured since I was somewhat of a DVD collector, I decided to go on Amazon and get some SpongeBob DVDs. Last time I did this was for Jimmy Neutron, and they seemed to be in good working condition. And I even made sure these weren't bootlegs. I found a 5-for-1 deal of SpongeBob DVDs, and those were Nautical Nonsense and Sponge Buddies, Lost at Sea, Halloween, Home Sweet Pineapple, and SpongeBob Goes Prehistoric. This seemed like a good deal to me, and those were even photos taken that show they were real, so I bought them and waited for the delivery. About 2 days had passed, and I got up to see if it had arrived yet, and the package was at my front door. When I opened it, the box was small and gladly wasn't damaged. I opened it up to see the DVDs in order. They all seemed to be the real deal, but when I got to the SpongeBob Prehistoric, I noticed something off about it. The DVD looked like it was poorly printed onto a case, and there was nothing on the back of it, just plain white. And then I figured why that is. I saw a bit of white on the back of it, and the back wasn't white, it just had a piece of printer paper on the back of it. I folded it open, and it read, There's something about this DVD you shouldn't know about. And in case if you had any chance you found this paper on the back of it, then you will experience the episode I found within the depths of this disc. Kinda strange that there was an episode I never seen of this. If I can recall, there were only 9 episodes on this DVD. A secret episode that was hidden in this DVD. This seemed to be a hoax or something, but I will play it along within to see if it's true or not. I continue reading the paper as I put the disc in my DVD player. In order to find this episode, you must do the following. 1. Boot up the disc in the DVD player. 2. Go into the episode selection. 3. If you have a DVD remote that has numbers on it, press the following numbers. 4, 8, 7, 6, 5, 2, 2, 1, 3, 6. 4. Once you have done so, the episode awaits you. Luckily, I just so happened to have the exact remote as the note said about, and I did just that. I went to the episode selection, I made sure to type the code, and it was right there. An empty menu with the prehistoric Bikini Atoll Island in the background with the episode displayed as it was called Extinction. From that name alone, I was thinking that this was a sequel episode to UGG/SpongeBob BC. It seemed interesting to me. I decided to select the episode to see what it was. That episode started with the intro, nothing too out of the ordinary. But what I noticed was after that SpongeBob did the iconic flute nose part, instead of the created by Steven Hillenburg, it said created by ... The episode continued as we see the same opening to the SpongeBob BC intro. I was starting to think it was the same episode, except differently. But after when Frenchie said that Patchy was hosting the episode, the screen cut to black for a bit, and we see Patchy's prehistoric house once again. But then I saw and heard an explosion in the background of the trees. What the heck? Did someone set off an explosion in the set? The screen then cut to prehistoric Patchy's corpse. And what's most notable was the fact that his bottom half of his body was missing. Was this a dark connection to the episode that episode where he was attacked by a dinosaur? It stayed on that exact frame for about 30 seconds till the screen faded black and opened up to the cartoon episode. The title card read Extinction with the light orange glowing text with manga fire background. The intro credits didn't list off anyone. It was straight blank. The episode started with SpongeBob and Patrick playing outside with SpongeBob's bubble log and doing some clapping as well. It was pretty much that for 20 seconds till a random background cavefish came by warning about an upcoming danger to the land. This is the first we see someone else besides SpongeBob, Patar, and Squirrel. He said something like, danger, anga, giant free rock, and then gaga to the ocean. He went away, leaving both SpongeBob and Patar worried. It came to me that this episode was parodying what happened to the dinosaurs, where a giant meteor destroyed all the existence and the dinosaurs as well. SpongeBob and Patar ran in circles trying to know what to do, but Patar stopped SpongeBob by tripping him and explains that his rock is made out of stone. It can have a chance of a survival. SpongeBob and Patar ran to gather supplies and food before the meteor struck. In transition to Squidward entering out of his house, the sound of the silence until the same fish from before tells Squidward the unget news. Squidward quickly went out into the wilderness to find supplies and food as well. During his trip, he found some prehistoric crabs as well. This part disturbed me when I viewed this. He stomped on one of them and there was blood coming out of his shell. And not only that, but Squidward picks up the dead crab body and eats a half of it, with its intestines coming out of it. I got up from the couch to throw up by a near garbage can. I was heavily disturbed what I just saw. When I came back, a time card read 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left, like before the event? I probably guess so. In transition to SpongeBob and Patar grabbing their material and throwing them into Patar's rock. SpongeBob also brought prehistoric Gary as well as Gary goes into the house as well despite him being huge. Before they could finish, we see Squidward getting his surprise and go inside his house, but beforehand, he sees what's going on in Patar's rock and he sees log for fire. Squidward got an idea to kidnap the log so he can have the fire to himself. Squidward grabbed his clubs and sneaks up onto Patar and slams it onto his head and steals the fire. Patar quickly heals and chases after Squidward. Patar and Squidward get into a huge argument about it, and then something happens. Patar grabs Squidward by the head and runs to his rock. What happens next is jarring.
Patar slams Squidward's head onto this rock house and bashes his brains out. Several times, I might add. What's left of Squidward is nothing more than a dead body with blood and pieces of his brains on Patar's rock. SpongeBob and Patar then reopened the rock, but luckily it opened and they entered. The next thing I saw was the meteor. It wasn't too late. Both SpongeBob and Patar could have been seen noticing the meteor while knowing that they were have some shelter. The meteor struck down. An explosion could be seen in the distance, reaching its way. We see as they hear the explosion, all prehistoric Bikini Bottom is nothing. No water, no fish, nobody except for SpongeBob and Patar. It then goes to pitch black as words fade on the screen say, exaggeration is a part of life. We can't live forever. It's how circle life. You know what it feels like one day. It then cut to the credits, which was the version used for SpongeBob BC, even though it was pitched down. It then showed the United Plankton Productions logo, but it was different. It's a blue picture of SpongeBob with black eyes as tears fall on his face. It looks like he is drowning in a prehistoric tar pit. It also slowly fades to black, showing a much different Nickelodeon logo. It shows the words Sad Nickelodeon instead of the usual orange color. It's blue. The shape of it was an arrow with blue splash all over it. And I also noticed that the copyright was from 1999, which was incredibly odd because the episode itself probably was from 2002 or 2004, depending on how UGG or BC, SpongeBob BC would air. It also faded black for a couple of seconds until it slowly shows what appears to be Bikini Atoll, while the seagull noises can be heard in the distance. The words come up on the screen, faded in and out, saying, we knew they weren't gonna last long. That's how life works. Ejaculation is inevitable, and then it shows an explosion in the distance as it slowly comes on screen, completely destroying the island and the camera as well. I took the disc out of the DVD player and put it back in the case. It surprises me that there was a dark sequel to this episode I never knew about, and I think I should have known about. I went to see was there any mentions of this episode, but what I did saw was some information on a wiki known as Naudian Wiki. What is Naudian? I did some research, some more digging, and what it properly is a dark, disturbing version of Nickelodeon. The internet has documented these kind of things and posted footage of the episodes onto YouTube. These episodes were not taken down, but whatever this Nickelodeon is, I will find out. I remember seeing a bunch of VHSs I have in my attic that were Nickelodeon stuff. Maybe I should search more of these things. Maybe I might lead into some answers.